Disturbing allegations about accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and members of his social circle. Those allegations come from newly unsealed documents from a now settled court case against Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell. A woman claims that Maxwell groomed her to be a sex slave to Epstein and was trafficked to some of his most powerful associates. Among those associates, a former senator and a governor. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Tonight, the Jeffrey Epstein scandal is growing. Bombshell accusations point a finger at some rather notable names. 2,000 pages of documents were unsealed in Manhattan federal court related to a defamation case brought by Virginia Roberts Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell, an Epstein associate. In court filings, Giuffre says she became an underage teen sex slave for Epstein, who was later directed by Maxwell and Epstein to have sex with many, quote, powerful men, including numerous prominent American politicians, powerful business executives, foreign presidents, and other world leaders. Among those Giuffre names in sworn depositions, British royalty Prince Andrew, former governor and UN Ambassador Bill Richardson, and the influential former senator from Maine, George Mitchell. All three men have strongly denied the allegations.
Hey everybody, I'm sure you've seen this massively breaking news. This is just going to be a really short video to go over some of the newer Epstein developments. Basically, we just want to see if this is something that you guys might be interested in us covering. We would probably break it down into two separate 30-minute videos or something like that. But since so much of this information is still breaking news right now, and it would take a while to go through this recent 2,000 page document dump anyways, we're probably going to finish up the next episode of the Finders Cult first, and then we can go back and take a dive down this terrifying Epstein rabbit hole, if that's something you guys want to see. So anyways, here's the super short condensed synopsis without any of the really intricate details. But we're just gonna go over the super basics just in a timeline format. So let's see here. In 2005, it was reported that Jeffrey Epstein was being investigated by the police for allegedly sexually abusing multiple minors and underage girls in the early 2000s at his Florida mansion, known by locals as quote-unquote Orgy Island, as well as on his private jet nicknamed the Lolita Express. The New York businessman had connections to many powerful elites, including politicians, celebrities, and world leaders. Then a little later, in 2008, Epstein's lawyers worked out a great deal for him, the infamous non-prosecution agreement, which required him to plead guilty, but only to state charges in Florida, and only for the solicitation and procurement of a minor for prostitution. This is a way lighter charge than if he would have went to trial and actually been convicted for the crimes that he allegedly committed. This deal basically let him avoid a potential life sentence, and instead, he only had to serve 13 months, and he was allowed into a work release program. So he was able to leave the prison every day to go to work, 6 days a week at least. So he basically only had to sleep there. So then fast forward to November 28th, 2018, when reporter Julie Brown of the Miami Herald published a damning article that revealed the details of her investigation, and she also brought up new information about the crimes that he had allegedly committed. She also found about 60 women who say they were abused between 2001 and 2006, and she was able to identify 20 other alleged victims. So then on February 6, 2019, Reuters reports that the U.S. Justice Department's Office of Professional Responsibility is investigating whether U.S. attorneys committed professional misconduct in the Epstein case, trying to figure out, like, hey, how did he get this deal? I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, Acosta stepping down from his role in the Trump administration. So anyways, then on February 21st, 2019, a federal judge ruled that Epstein's 2008 plea deal was illegal because some of his victims were not consulted in the sentencing, which is of course a violation of the Crime Victims' Rights Act. Then a little later, on July 6, reports surfaced citing unnamed law enforcement sources that Epstein has been arrested. He was later charged with a count of sex trafficking a minor and a count of sex trafficking conspiracy. 2 days later, July 8th, Epstein pleads not guilty to the charges, which carry a maximum penalty of 45 years. Court documents allege that Epstein abused a vast network of girls at his homes in Miami, New York, and elsewhere. And some of the victims were allegedly paid to recruit other victims. 2 days later, July 10th, a new accuser comes forward, a young woman named Jennifer Araozi, and please forgive me if I mispronounced that, Jennifer, but she told the Today Show that she planned to sue Epstein, who allegedly raped her when she was only 15 years old. 2 days later, again, July 12th, Acosta steps down from his post amid calls to resign. 6 days later, July 18th, Epstein is denied bail over concerns for community safety, and the judge also said Epstein could be a flight risk. He has these massive resources. We already know that he had all these passports, all this weird stuff, private jets, helicopters. I mean, the guy probably could have went anywhere. A few days later, July 24th, NBC reports that Epstein had recently been found semi-conscious with marks on his neck in his cell. The report, which cited unnamed sources, did not establish whether Epstein had been injured by someone else or if he had attempted to harm himself. The sources said Epstein was placed on suicide watch. Then, August 9th, a federal appeals court unseals roughly 2,000 pages of documents, including graphic allegations involving Epstein. The documents were part of a defamation lawsuit filed by an Epstein accuser against a British socialite. And for anyone who's been following this case, you know how important all of this is. And that's the kind of stuff that we'll get into if we do make a full-length documentary on this subject, if you guys want to see it. The next day, August 10th, Epstein is found unresponsive in his cell at New York's Metropolitan Correctional Center at about 6:30 a.m. He is transported to hospital and later pronounced dead. He was 66 years old. So yeah, the day after these 2,000 pages of documents. So a common belief, I guess you could call it a conspiracy theory at this point in time, is that these powerful people had Epstein killed and staged the scene to look like a suicide. Anyone who has followed this channel for a few months knows that we look at more than a few suspicious suicides, and so far it obviously looks like something is probably going on here. Now that being said, we're not ready to jump onto the assassination, suicided, arkancided cover-up train just quite yet, at least not until we look deeper through all the documents, see what new information might come out, keep following the story, chasing the articles. But make no mistake, there are absolutely, without a doubt, extremely powerful people out there that could not be happier with him out of the picture, with the way this turned out. Now, we haven't confirmed it yet, but there are numerous reports that he was taken off of suicide watch, and that the guards were told to leave the area for maintenance, and that the cameras malfunctioned during this time in question. So we'll definitely get into these details and try to figure all of this out if you guys really are interested in it. So let us know either in the comments, email us in the community section, whatever. Just let us know if you want to see more of this, and we will start working on it right after we wrap up part 2 of the Finders Cult, which shouldn't be too much longer. So hopefully we will see you guys then. Peace!